really excited. Not only is Mustang Matters now starting to kick off nationwide, but more and more people are emailing in to Debbie McCarthy, and they're actually stopping by the studio and asking, when will Mustang Matters and Lacy J. Dalton, Shannon, Windle, Cindy Hartzell, JoAnn Spotted Bear, and the rest, when will you be on air? Because we want to get involved. Here's a perfect example. Today, the owner of Great Works of China stopped in right before the show and said, will Lacy J. Dalton be there today? And I said, absolutely, she sure will. And they said, well, here's what we would like to do on behalf of the Let 'em Run Foundation and Lacy J. Dalton. We want to donate a beautiful portrait. And Lacy, I'm pointing to it right here in the studio. What do you say?
You know, first of all, let me say a huge thank you. And I've been admiring this painting for a long time, and I'm delighted to have it. And you know, when we do our big event, June 7th, with the Mustang Club of America, we will have some wonderful prizes for the silent auction. And I think this may, unless we decide we can't part with it, which may happen.
Well, I tell you what, it is beautiful, and we do want to thank the Great Works of China. They too are located here at the Reno Town Mall. What a beautiful portrait. We want to thank the owners of Great Works of China for dropping it off here at the studio, where we invite you to join us as well. And Lacy, I'm not going to go another moment without telling our listeners before we get into the show about an event that I am so pleased is taking place up on the Comstock, Virginia City, one of my favorite places on earth, the Red Dog Saloon, right? Red Dog Saloon, and I'm talking about, listeners, if you just tuned in, Saturday, October 12th. Lacy, take it away.
Well, I am so pleased to be there. We're Dale Panay will be joining me at the Red Dog, and also Big Bill Lehman, who is famous for having played with the Grateful Dead and the Willie Nelson Band and New Riders of the Purple Sage for years and years, and just everybody, the Starship and the Jefferson Airplane. I'm so excited to be having Big Bill with us, and I'm so excited to have our host for the show, who will be none other than No Show Eddie Floyd.
No Show Eddie Floyd. Then I'll have to extend my, if you will, invitation to my sidekick, Debbie McCarthy. I don't go anywhere without Debbie.
Oh, Debbie, are you coming
right,
too?
sure.
That'll be so wonderful. We have two shows, one at 2:30 and one at 8:30 at night. So just call the Red Dog.
Okay.
And
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to jump in right now and let you know that my wife will be at the 2:30. Let's not trust Shari Floyd to be at the 8:30. That's way past her bedtime at the Wynema Ranch.
I think it's way past all of it. but you know, I take a lot of B vitamins on the days of shows when I have. Normally, I'm in bed by about 9, really.
Well, I tell you what, we're all looking forward to, and you mentioned it earlier in the show, and then let's go to Shannon Windle with some of the things that need to really be, if you will, told here on Mustang Matters. This is Mustang Matters, listeners. If you are in the Northern Nevada area, Reno Sparks area to be more specific, come join us. Get behind a microphone and get involved. This show is donated by the America Matters Media Company. They have over 38 different talk shows. They all hail right here from the Reno Town Mall, and this show is dedicated to our American heritage, the wild horses and burros nationwide. And right here we're doing a great job with organizations like the Let 'em Run Foundation, which is Lacy J. Dalton's, and also like the other host of Mustang Matters right here, Shannon Windle, Hidden Valley Wild Horse Protection Fund. Shannon, you guys do such a phenomenal job.
Oh, Eddie, you are so kind. Thank you so very much. And I want to really say a huge shout out and thank you to America Matters Media for giving us this opportunity to be here today every week from 11 until noon, giving us a full hour. We really appreciate that. And I'm sure all of our listeners out there, thank you for listening.
Sure, if you'll turn the radio down, please.
And we are so very
I have
grateful
feedback
that you are out there. And if it wasn't for you, I'm
Mrs.
sure
Carroll?
we'd be here today.
You better believe it. As a matter of fact, I don't care if it comes to the Let 'em Run Foundation, if it comes to Hidden Valley Wild Horse Protection Fund, if it comes to Wynema Ranch or Least Resistance or Bonnie Matten's organization, they have an October 5th event up on the Comstock, Virginia City. And Bonnie Matten, I know you're listening up there on the Comstock right now. That's October 5th, listeners, at the famous Piper's Opera House, with a very dear friend of everybody at this panel and no stranger to America Matters Media, David John and the Comstock Cowboys, Lacy.
Yes, we are so pleased that they're doing it for us this year for Bonnie's group, and that is a very wonderful group, Wild Horse Preservation League.
Right.
And we'll talk about them later because their main territory is down in Roundhouse, and I know Shannon has some sad news from that area, but we are so looking forward to the big event at Piper's. There'll be lots of booths there. You can buy lots of horsey stuff. Richard Aloyan is going to be there. I don't have the poster in
You know
front of me.
what?
Who else? I love Richard Aloyan. He's probably one of my very favorite Western singer-songwriters.
Really?
Yeah, oh, as a matter of fact, I'm singing one of his songs now. I'm singing,
Oh.
he wrote a song for our Wild Horse Crossing CD, and I know Shannon's group is gonna have some of those CDs up there.
Oh,
There's
beautiful.
a song on that CD called The Escape. which I
And
think
Richard
is-
wrote it?
Richard wrote it and sings it beautifully. You know, Richard sounds a lot like Marty Roberts. He's
Yes, he
really-
does.
And I'm so excited that the Comstock Cowboys will be there, my dear friends. And we are, do we have that poster in front of us?
You know what,
Because there
I'm
are
gonna dig it
acts.
up, I'm gonna dig it up, but let me share this with you right now, okay? I'm gonna dig it up because right now, I'm not gonna risk getting my butt kicked by perhaps one of the best cowboy poets throughout the entire nation, and that's Harold Roy Miller. He's gonna be up
Oh,
there
that's
too.
right, Harold Roy will be there. I know, I'm wondering if Willis Lamb is gonna be there in all hat, no cattle. I don't have the poster in front of me.
Those two aren't, but they'll be in the audience right now, correct? I'll tell you what, listeners, we want you to know something, and we want you to know right now, if you want to get involved, you can call us. That phone number is 775-827-8900. Shannon, I'm coming to you because it looks like we have someone very, very special on the line with us right now.
We sure do. So I've got quite a bit of wild horse news that I wanted to give to everybody. And something that has happened this last week that has come to our attention that has been very traumatic, very sad, kind of horrific. Earlier this week, I received communication from one of our volunteers who is out on the range every single day, watches out for the horses, and she sent me a picture of a beautiful, two pictures actually, beautiful, huge paint stallion out on the range near the little town of Mound House,
Right.
which is real close to Carson City, our capital of Nevada.
And Bonnie Madden territory.
And-
Wild Horse Preservation
exactly.
League territory.
Exactly. She was devastated. The second picture was a picture of the carpet service. And apparently, somebody took it upon themselves to get out and shoot this horse 6 times.
Unbelievable.
And then somebody turned around, whether it was following up and saw this horse was dying and slit its throat out of trying to end its suffering, or whether this individual or individuals continued to torture the horse, we don't know. One way or another, we want to find out who did this, who perpetrated this evil, cowardice deed. It's repulsive. It's not something that we want to see happen to any creature anywhere on this planet, but we know it does. And if you have any information leading to reveal who this person may be, our secret witness program here in Reno, you can call them. The number, I lost it. I'll find the number in a second. And here we go. It's 775-322-4900. There is a reward at this time for any information leading to the conviction of whoever is responsible for this wretched and despicable act. And the more, again, if you call 775-322-4900, secret witness, and let them know, it's all the information is left anonymously, and let them know what you know, what you've heard. Keep your ears open. If you hear something in a bar, call that number. If you hear a neighbor bragging, somebody said something about, well, I heard this, call it in, let people know. And we have somebody on the line right now who's going to give us a little more information about what could potentially happen to somebody who gets caught. And they will, I feel confident, because we're gonna keep it in the news. Carol Abel, are you there?
I sure am. How you doing?
Thank you so much for calling in this morning, Carol. It's so good to hear from you. Can you start out by telling us just a little bit about yourself and how the heck did you get involved in wild horses, lady?
Well, before I even do that, you know, I asked to that bear by JoAnn bought a bear. Absolutely brought tears to my eyes. It's really hit my heart, and I want to thank her.
Wow.
To answer your question as to how I got involved, I originally got involved when I moved to Wynde Valley, and I saw the street signs, you know, wild horses were crossing. I searched for wild horses and didn't get any, and began to think that it was a myth. And then one day there they were in my front yard, a bunch of them, and I started photographing them. The time that I spent photographing different species of documents, their movements and stuff, I really became enthralled with their social structure. And of course, there's a lot very involved in some countries to really find out about what's going on and the dangers that these animals face. And you know, I swear, if there's anybody out there who never had the opportunity to actually spend some quiet time doing nothing but just watching these people, you gotta fall in love. I mean, you just really have to get that. And that's how I originally got involved in it. And my documentary photographing turned into actual photography. And then I got involved with a group of gals who, at that time, was just kind of a loose group that was protecting the horses. And we eventually founded the Windle Valley Wild Horse Protection Fund and brought it into a 501c3 tax-free organization.
Awesome. And if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were the very first president of that organization.
Yes, I was a founding president, and I really kind of need to say that because there were people involved before I was who were doing the trick, but they weren't, it wasn't a formal organization, and so technically, yes, I was the founding president.
Well, that organization has been around really, as you said, as in an informal capacity for close to 30 years. People have been involved out there helping and protecting the horses, and that was the first development in Reno that really encroached upon their, or one of the first developments that encroached on their territorial grazing lands, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah, yes, it was. And as a matter of fact, I've got a copy of it somewhere. There was an article in the New York Times with this original crew of gals talking about how they were looking to finish off the entire eastern perimeter of Windle Valley in order to protect the horses, and how they were working to protect the horses, and they called it the model program. The Department of Agriculture has then called it a model program that we had working there, that the girls had working there because I joined in later. But they've been around for a while, they've done a lot of good work.
And this is a really prime example of how humans, our society, can live so harmoniously with our wild horses, protect them, respect them, make sure that people are safe and the horses are safe. And then we turn around and we see something as tragic as this beautiful horse who was shot 6 times in its abdomen. And we also have another horse that was found not far from that horse that had an arrow, was found dead with an arrow through its face.
Whoa.
And
Actually, this is even worse. They were both dead, but the arrow in his face was not dead. The Department of Agriculture had to take him down to get him out of his injury. He had been shot twice, once in the face and once, I believe it was in the gut. And it's just, such tragedy, and I don't, on a personal level, I simply do not understand the legality.
I don't think, yeah. Carol Abel, I don't think any of us here at this set on Mustang Matters, nor anyone listening now nationwide, can absolutely see any reason on earth why someone could be that cruel. You know, to call them a jackass would be too kind, because we're here to protect the wild horses and the burros. You better believe it. JoAnn Spotted Bear wanted to address this situation. JoAnn, go ahead.
Thank you, Eddie. First, thank you, Eddie. I wanted to say thank you for that, and thank you, Carol, for listening in and tuning in and helping us. I'm really hurt right now as to hearing the horse that they shot and he didn't die. I could think of a story in Wounded Knee where they were going to bury a child who was still alive, along with the 300 men, women, and children who was massacred in Wounded Knee. That's what that reminded me of. The other one reminded me of the BLM book that I just received 2 days ago, where the wild horse and burros were supposed to be protected, and so was the martial law was addressed in there along with other acts. And right, I feel pretty stunned, and I hope Indian country is paying attention. And I'd like to thank Nola Moses for listening and helping us.
And you know, I'm glad you said that too, because we'll get into it in this Nevada Matters production of Mustang Matters nationwide, and that's the fact that the Navajo Nation has stepped up to the plate and have changed their minds about wild horse slaughter as well. Is that right, Lace?
Yes, I read it this morning, and it was such good news. We get so much bad news about the wild horses, but the Navajo traditional tribal people have stood up against their corporate government and protested the killing of animals, killing of wild horses, as they are sacred to the Navajo people. I think this is a tremendous step in the right direction. Thank you, Navajo traditional elders and people. We are so very grateful for you standing up for this. Also to Chief David Baldeagle, who is Miniconjou chief and a very great chief of many tribes, who has stood up against horse slaughter. Many of the traditional people are just not having any of this, and I think Shannon has some more details.
Yeah, Lacy, thank you so much, and thank you, JoAnn. I have a press release here, and I'll just read very briefly from it. The Nabuk Diné, elders and medicine people of the Diné, unanimously approved a resolution opposing any and all action that leads to the slaughter of horses. The horse is sacred to the Diné and is a central part of our culture and tradition. How heartwarming that
It is.
to see.
And you know, we're seeing that now, especially now that Mustang Matters listeners, especially now that Mustang Matters is being carried by Native Voice One radio stations nationwide. Shannon?
Yes, it sure is. And you know what? We want to say a huge thank you to all of you listeners out there, all those supporters. People are obviously interested in what's going on with our wild horses and burros. Can't forget those baby burros.
You better believe it. Can't forget them. As a matter of fact, it happens to be one of Lacy J. Dalton's very favorites. It's out at the Wynema Ranch. Her name is Jennifer, little Jennifer.
I am crazy about your burro. She is the sweetest animal. She's about 100 years old. And she is the gentlest, sweetest animal. And it's, it's always a pleasure to visit Wynema Ranch and the Hidden Valley Project out there. And I'm going to let Shannon give you some information about how you can adopt a wild horse or burro from the Hidden Valley.
Well, before I do that, I kind of wanted to close out this little session on the killing of these two horses.
Yes.
And just reiterate, if you have any information out there, listeners, pass the word on to your neighbors, your family members. Just keep it rolling. We'll find out who did this. If anybody has any information, please call Secret Witness at 775-322-4900. all the information will be taken in anonymously.
And you know what, let's also thank Carol Abel for calling in and becoming a part of Mustang Matters heard nationwide right now, coast to coast and border to border. And with that, let's go to someone no stranger to Mustang Matters, and certainly no stranger to every single solitary ranch in all of the state of California and Nevada, with her absolutely phenomenal publication, Horse Tales. That's Sharon DiCarlo. Sharon, welcome to Mustang Matters.
Well, good morning to all. Nice to be with you this morning.
Good morning, Sharon. Thank you so much for calling in. It's so good to hear from you. Tell us what you got going.
Well, what I wanted to put out there to the public to let everyone know that they are invited to the Will James Society's 21st annual gathering called Casino Days, and that's going to take place at John Squadron Nugget in the park, September 26th through the 28th. And you might think, well, what does this have to do with the wild horses? Well, it has a lot to do because Will James used to live in Washoe Valley, off of Brinktown Road. His cabin is still there, as a matter of fact. He wrote one of the most wonderful stories about a wild Mustang colt called Smokey the Cowboy. It's a very, very old and popular, well-read book. And the Will James Society is keeping his book, of which he wrote 24, alive and well and being published. And it's our job to raise money to keep the book coming into the school library so kids can read about cowboys and horses and stuff that is not very, at this time, isn't very published anymore. I think it's really important for kids to be able to have these books. They talk about the camaraderie between the cowboy and his horse. And Will James was, I think, was one of the first wild horse advocates, actually. I think he started out as a cowboy who just thought that horses were a using tool. And as he got more into cowboying, he realized how important they were to him. That he was spending his whole life, the whole time, pretty much with a horse. And he once wrote with me, and this was in vernacular from cowboy vernacular, so it's not grammatically correct. Don't judge him on that. He once wrote one of his books. With me, my weakness lay towards the horse. My life, from the time I first squinted at daylight, has been with horses. I admire every step the creature makes. I know them and been true so much with them that I've come to figure a big mistake was made when the horse was classed as an animal. To me, the horse is man's greatest, most useful, faithful, and powerful friend. And that's how he felt about horses, and I think he has a great history here in our northern Nevada area as a cowboy and as a horse lover, and as an animal lover for that matter. And so I invite all of you to come out to our gather. We're having a banquet on the 28th, and we have guest speakers and our entertainment. As a matter of fact, we were talking about Richard Floyd. He's going to be our entertainment for the evening. Our guest speaker is Stephen Brown, who is the president of the Wynema Rodeo Foundation. And we're going to have a great big silent auction with wonderful Western memorabilia. We're taking a trip to Virginia Beach to ride the train. On Friday, we're going to have a trip to the bar and Western store. We're for a talk on Will James period tax with Doug Cox, great powder maker here in northern Nevada. And of course, Napa-Bid security will be going on all during that time, and we'll be going over there and watching the horses work as well.
Ho!
So I hope everyone can try to make it to some of our events. If you need more information, go to www.willjames.org or give me a call at 775-265-7137. All the information is in the last two issues of Horse Tales as well. And
Sharon.
the mission as the Will James Society is to promote the literature and art of the great cowboy author Will James through the gifting of his inspirational books to schools, public libraries, our military units, and hospitals throughout the world, and interested and worthy institutions.
Sharon, thank you so.
We see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you so much, Sharon. We're just running a little short of time. Just wanted to thank you so much again for coming on today. And the event sounds like it's going to be a great deal of fun. You know, one of my favorite Western writers, singer-songwriters, a beautiful voice. He sounds like Marty Robbins. If you haven't heard Richard Loyan, you get down there and hear him because you're going to love it. Thanks again, Sharon DiCarlo.
Thank you very much, Sharon DiCarlo, Horsetails. Sharon, real quick, tell the people how they can get that copy that sits on the coffee table at the Wynema Ranch all the time. How do they get a hold of you and Horsetails?
Well, you can go to any Western feed store and find Hartzell and Windle, Nevada, as a matter of fact, all over Nevada, or you can call me at 775-265-7137, or send me $25 to 1444 Glenwood Drive, Gardnerville, Nevada, 89460, and you can have your Hartzell sent right to your house monthly.
You better believe it. Thanks again for calling in. We have just enough time, if you would. Shannon, Windle, I want people involved with the Hidden Valley Wild Horse Protection Fund. We need hay for the winter. We need to feed these horses. How do they get a hold of you? And then we'll let Lacy give the Let 'em Run Foundation.
Thank you so much, I appreciate that. Please, listeners, contact us at www.hiddenvalleyhorses.com, www.hiddenvalleyhorses.com.
Thank you, Shannon. And is there a phone number that they can reach you at that you'd like to give out?
Well, sure, anybody can call my cell phone anytime, 775-297-2955. We are always happy
And you
to
know,
talk to people about our horses.
you better believe
That's
it.
great. For techno peasants like me, that's a really important thing. Also, if you want to call Let 'em Run Foundation, you can call me at 775-847-7322. Thank you, Eddie.
All right, listeners, for those of you listening on Fox News Radio, that wraps us up for the week. And remember, those of you listening on other radio stations nationwide, stay tuned. We will be right back.
Oh, that almost choked me up. I was like, oh, I gotta.
Hi, Kelly, how are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Morning.
Sorry, I could only get through one of them.
That's
so
okay.
I figured I'd go local.
We'll announce you in. We're going to make it sound like it's a second show.
thinking about
But what they're doing is, Craig's putting them together, and the radio stations are taking, so that you know,
If I don't,
Lacy, Shannon, just so you know, I've only got a minute. What happens is, we're separating them, they're 30-minute segments, but they're 1 hour. Most of our stations are picking up 1 hour shows, and they're doing it in the form of series. So she wants them in 30s, because sometimes they'll take one a day for a week, you know, like a series, and so that's 5 for the Monday through Friday thing. So she said, Eddie, would you be kind enough, I know Craig can do it,
Well,
which he's
and
done.
it's also the way that the stations work. They have to take a break there because they're Native Horse One. They're just like NPR, their National Public Radio for
Right.
They have to have a break every 30 minutes to do their underwriters and that stuff. So
Oh, yeah,
here we
yeah.
go.
Get over there.
15 seconds.
Yeah,
And
15 seconds.
JoAnn, put this hole by the microphone. That's where the sound comes out, not down there. Sound comes out close.
Okay, kids.
Quiet, please. Stand by. Are we gonna start off directly with her, Eddie? Eddie, are we gonna start directly with her or come to you first?
All right, listeners, that's right. It's Mustang Matters, and it's Mustang Matters nationwide. That's right. Get involved with us. We're at the Reno Town Mall. If you're driving around in our area, the Reno, Sparks, Lake Tahoe area, stop by Reno Town Mall. Get behind a microphone. Thank the great host. We have Kelly Hyatt on set with us, along with JoAnn Spotted Bear. We also have Shannon Windle of the Hidden Valley Wild Horse Protection Fund, and of course, the creator of Mustang Matters and the host of the show, Lacy J. Dalton, is on set with us, along with Debbie McCarthy. And we always start Mustang Matters off the same way. We started off with some beautiful Native American flute and also a prayer in Lakota from our co-host, JoAnn Spotted Bear.
Atewa kanta gatkasla ushmalo omakiayo. Shinko wakan kita was the hecha no yate kita was the hecha. Atewa kanta ga nia wichoni ki he nielo. Creator Almighty God, I ask you to bless over the people today and all of our horses. You're the only way, the one way, and the sacred way. Pray Almighty God ask you to bless over us at this moment. Aho, Dakyasa. Amen.
Thank you for that, JoAnn Spotted Bear. Listeners, if you just tuned in again, that beautiful music and that Lakota prayer in American Indian was by JoAnn Spotted Bear, one of the co-hosts with Lacy J. Dalton, Shannon Windle, Kelly Hyatt, Debbie McCarthy, and yours truly right here on various radio stations nationwide, including our flagship 99.1 FM Talk, a Fox News radio affiliate, as well as Native Voice One radio stations nationwide. We are honored to have you listening to this show. This show is for the American heritage of the wild horses and burros nationwide. And I'll tell you what, again, for a lot of listeners who just tuned in to Mustang Matters, I want to tell you about some events. I'll kick it off, then we'll go to the creator and host of the show, Lacy J. Dalton. And I'm going to kick it off with October 5th. That's up at Piper's Opera House. And it's for Bonnie Madden and the Wild Horse Preservation League. They're up there on October 5th. Up there is going to be David John, Comstock Cowboys, Harold Roy Miller, and also one of your favorites, Lacy.
They're all my favorites. I have played so many shows with these wonderful people. I'm always proud to share a stage with David John, with Harold Roy Miller, and with, of course, the great Richard William, who is one of the finest, I think, singers, songwriters, and poets, Western poets, right here from right in our area. He lives out in Dayton, and he is a fabulous talent. Sounds like Marty Robbins, and it is going to be a wonderful show up there for Bonnie Madden and the Wild Horse Preservation League, and all the groups will be coming up there. They will be having booths. You'll be able to buy lots and lots of wonderful stuff at Piper's Opera House on October 5th, and I'm very excited that this is the second annual of these wild horse benefits. And believe me, last year they raised $16,000 for the wild horses, and we were thrilled.
And you know, not only that, this year you get to do something I'm really excited about. You get to sit in the audience with my wife this year, instead of being up on the stage, working along with the rest of the people. And Shannon, I'm so honored the fact that, you know, Hidden Valley is going to be represented up there as well, because it's something that's so important. Listeners, so many ways for you to get involved and protect our American heritage. And when I say our American heritage, I truly mean it. The wild horses and burros nationwide. This nation was built on the backs of these horses and these burros.
Absolutely, Eddie. These are our gifts, really. That's the way I look at them, and so many other people do as well. We treasure what we have been given on this earth, and we have great respect for these creatures. And we're going to be up there October 5th. That's Saturday. Virginia City's Piper's Opera House, along with a whole bunch of other really fun people. It's going to be a great event. Last year, and absolutely.
Hoot, I like that. Okay? That's what we have every time these wild horse advocates get together. We indeed have a hoot, I guarantee you, listeners.
Yeah, and Eddie, don't forget, Christmas is not far away, and if you have horse-loving folks that you want to get horse gifts for, this is the place to do it. There will be all kinds of horse-oriented gifts for Christmas at the Piper's Opera House, October 5th, with our good friends, David John Comstock Cowboys, Harold Roy Miller, great cowboy poet from Mount House, or Stagecoach. He's
Stagecoach,
right? He's all the way out to
Stagecoach.
Stagecoach. Anyway, Harold Roy, a real cowboy, with doing real cowboy poetry, and of course, Richard William.
You better believe it. And listeners, by the way, she won't do it, so I'll do it real quick. And that is, you hang around up on the Comstock if you won't stay up in Virginia City. And on October 12th, we're going to have our very own Lacy J. Dalton up there. 2 appearances. It's going to be great. It's the first annual Great Pumpkin Festival. You heard me right. Great Pumpkin Festival with Lacy J. Dalton and one of our favorites as well, Dale Poney, and that's going to be up at the Red Dog Saloon. Lacy, the times of those events on the 12th.
Well, we're going to have one great event at 2:30 for people like me who go to bed at the time of the second show, which is 8:30. I'm going to have to sleep in that morning because I'll be up late, and I will be so happy to be on stage with Dale Poney, my normal regular sidekick, and also Bill Lehman, who is, he's sort of a star in his own right. He's played with the Grateful Dead and the Willie Nelson Band, and he's played with the Jefferson Airplane and the Jefferson Starship, and many, many years with the New Riders of the Purple Sage, whose songs I love, and are we doing some of that music from the New Riders and also the Grateful Dead?
Boy, I tell you what, that is absolutely great. And this is a perfect segue. Real quick, I want to say thank you to two people who committed this week to donate to the Wild Horses through Hidden Valley, and that's Scott and Becky Wiley in Neptune Beach, Florida. Heard about Mustang Matters. They are donating, and also our great past senator from the state of Washington who lives in Vancouver, Art Dalton, said you can be counting on my donation check as well. He lives in Vancouver, Washington. Just two people who have gotten involved because of Mustang Matters going nationwide, thanks to our Fox News affiliate and especially Native Voice One radio stations nationwide. More and more people are hearing about it, and more people are getting involved.
And I think that's just fabulous, and we just want to thank you so very much, everybody here at America Matters Radio Media, for giving us this opportunity to be here and tell people about our wild horses. And thank you to all the listeners out there and all the radio stations that are picking us up. We just love it, and we'd love to hear from you. Call in, ask us questions, tell us about your horses.
And you know, I'm so...
we don't care if they're wild or not, but don't forget to tell us about your bird.
You better
Yeah.
believe it. The horses and the bros. And with that, we're going to go to our very first caller. I'm really excited now because this is our first time here on Mustang Matters that we get to talk about a brand new publication that's going to hit the newsstand probably the end of this year. We'll find out from Jesse right now from Whitefish, Montana. Jesse, welcome to Mustang Matters.
Well, thank you, Eddie.
Tell us about this publication.
Well, I've been trying to do this for years, and for some reason in the old days it just wouldn't pick up. It's just like people really wanted to save the horses, but they didn't want to, get education out there in regards to people going, well, so what, and it's really important. I've studied these horses out in the field like many others have. I've learned their social structures. I lived in Reno, Nevada for well over 20 years and was out in the field with them a lot. And horses are dear to my heart. I'm half native. I'm Blackfoot Blackfeet in my mom's of the Wild Horse Society. But, horses have been with me for many years. But to see what's going on with our government and what they're doing with these horses, it's been a nightmare from day one for me.
Well, you know what? Let me jump in real quick too, Jesse, if you don't mind, because you're a little bit too humble. I'm going to tell the listeners exactly what you are doing. Okay, the name of this magazine is going to be called Wild Mustangs of the West, and it's going to be a publication put out by Jesse McKenna, and a real friend of the wild horses and burros. And Lacy, she has some real exciting news regarding her feature article on her very first issue of Wild Mustangs of the West. Right, Jesse?
That's correct, yeah.
Well, tell Lacy what you're thinking about.
Well, what I want to do is, as I've been interacting with y'all for a little while now, I want to do a feature article on the three organizations, being that all three of you work so closely together, and educate people, because when I was in Reno, I'll be honest with you, I've heard of a lot of organizations, but I haven't heard of y'all. And I'm dealing with a lot of other people with that one as well, so I would like to do, we all know what Madeline Pickens is doing and et cetera, but we really would like to, I'd like to do a feature on all three organizations.
We would, Jesse, we would be so excited for that. We, of course, need all the publicity we can get. The Hidden Valley Group has absorbed about 175, is that right? 175 wild horses, and we need all the help we can get supporting this project, which is just a boots on the ground project at Wynema Ranch, which is at Floyd and Shari's ranch out there. We have some great folks helping at the ranch. It'd be great to interview Kat and Amber and Cindy Hartzell, Kelly.
I is, you know, y'all are making me homesick. I'm beginning to.
Well, you know,
Well, you come right on.
come on down, girl.
Come on
Listen,
down.
you know what, I've got to share with you there, all the way to Whitefish, Montana. Just received an email from Desiree in Tucson, Arizona. Said, you tell Jessie McKenna that one thing she ought to put in her new publication, Wild Mustangs of the West, she ought to have a centerfold that has a new filly in it or a new colt. And I think that's a great idea.
You know, I was kind of thinking of Murphy. Didn't you name that woman Murphy?
Yeah, well, actually, not only that was named after, you know, Karen Murphy, the wife of Michael Martin Murphy. We also just recently named the very newest one, thanks to Lacy J. Dalton's relationship with Jet Williams. That's right, Hank Williams Sr.'s daughter and Hank Williams Jr.'s sister. Right now, she was on stage with you in Montana, right, Lacy?
Yeah, we were just down in Livingston. I'm sorry that.
Yeah, you're just out, you're ready. Kind of south, that way south of Lincoln.
Well,
I'm up near the Glacier Mountains.
you know, I had a friend from there in college. Her name was Charlie. I burned my leg on her motorcycle, and that's how I remember Whitefish. I've never been up, but I'd love to be up, Jesse. I hope you'll come and visit the Hidden Valley
We would love
group,
that.
and really, what they're doing here is, along with Eddie and Shari Floyd at Wynema Ranch, is an incredible project. It's just boots on the ground, and it's pulling itself up with its own bootstraps. We'd like to get them all the publicity that we can
Well, we
to.
need to work together and get all that together. We can even do that centerfold, that's not a problem.
I
Oh,
love the idea.
Well,
With, put one of your horses, your both our members out there, and use it as a centerfold, and for that matter, we can do that well, right now, we're gonna publish it every quarter.
every quarter, but
And
still,
hopefully when it starts getting more popular, then we can go on a monthly basis. So
well,
I really think this is needed.
I do too. I do too.
I know a lot of people that tried this before, and I have never seen anything about wild horses on the newsstand. So let's get them out there. Let's get you people out there that are doing all this wonderful work.
Let's
you
do
know.
it.
I can, you know, when I see you all, I can tell you some old cowboy stories.
Well, we look forward to you coming down. Jesse, we're going to let you go now. Kelly Hyatt has a comment, but we want to thank you for calling Mustang Matters. But more importantly, we invite you to come stay at the Wynema Ranch as you put together that article. We'll send you any and all pictures we have, including Lacy J. Dalton, who might change your mind and become the centerfold herself. We never know.
You know, that honeymoon is over.
That honeymoon is over. Jesse, thanks for calling in.
Thank you,
More
Jesse.
importantly, thanks for Wild Mustangs of the West. Kelly?
Oh, well, Jesse, this actually is a comment for you, and I just wanted to let you know, thank you for wanting to do that article about all the different groups that are working around the Reno, Tahoe, Virginia City area for the horses. I just want to let you know that last year I did not know about all of these different organizations, and it's nice to be working with Hidden Valley, and in addition to Wynema Ranch and the great things that are going on up there, Hidden Valley is really, really very involved with the boots on the ground wild horses as well. We have people that are out there every single day. In fact, this morning we had horses everywhere. Last night, Shannon and I and a couple of other girls, Karina and Karen, were out until very late at night walking around looking for a hurt horse. So the people that are out here on the ground, the people that live in the neighborhoods are really doing everything they can to try to come together to help these horses. And sometimes they don't know where to go, what organizations are doing what or helping. So it would be great for you to shed some light on that and maybe talk to, you know, Shannon, of course, and some of those other folks as well.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
When you talk to people, have them submit their information to me, and I will list it in make a directory and list all these organizations that people can get in contact with. Myself, I used to live in Lockwood, and I know you're familiar with Lockwood, and I used to intermingle with the horses all the time. It was just like they were always there. So anyway, if people would list the different organizations, list the non-fundraisers, all these
You bet. We will definitely do that, Jesse. Thank you so much. This is,
I will get them in there for you.
thank you so much.
Jesse, we have to thank you, and we also don't want to go without mentioning the Alliance of Wild Horse Advocates here. There are about 11 groups who really all pull together. We work together really well here in Reno.
Oh my gosh.
There is there have been rumors in the past that wild horse groups don't get along. That's just not true. We have 11 groups that work very hard, and we're also associated with some national groups. And you can tell us about those.
My gosh, we are just so very, very lucky to be involved with such competent, wise people who have been doing this for years. We have, I'm just going to toot our own horn here. It was a year ago tomorrow that we attended the first livestock auction where our beautiful Virginia range wild horses were dumped and just left there to
Wow, I'm sorry.
be bought by whoever may show up. Well, you know what? There wasn't anybody there but kill buyers and us to show up and buy them. And I really need to reach out and thank our wonderful partners and allies, namely Return to Freedom's American Wild Horse Preservation Campaign, who have just been rock solid behind us all the way. They're a national group, and look them up. They're great. As well as, and just almost more importantly, the Least Resistance Training Concepts Group, headed up by Sharon and Willis Lamb over in Stagecoach. Then they also, my God, they do so much. You can go on and on and on. They have wild horse mentors. And they are the responsible organizations for when there are evacuations needed for large animals in our area. We know about fires. They're called out, and they do that. Large animal rescue. And all of the people who stepped up over this last year, at that auction, we had a trailer brigade. I was so proud to stand there and look at these people who just showed up with the trailers to help. When we all were confident we were going to get our horses, we were going to get every damn one of them back, and we did. We had to bid against that horrible owner of the livestock auction who bid our horses, the price of our horses out. People stayed all day, long into the night. That last trailer got out of there about 10 o'clock at night, loaded up with our precious gifts.
Wow.
And we were able to save every one of the 150 horses that were picked up and moved and taken away by the Department of Agriculture. As a result, the people in this area, the people across the state, across the United States have banded together. We have such a solid group, such a wonderful foundation that we all work from all the way down to the fish springs. Wonderful, wonderful people who just show up. Everybody wants to help.
It's wonderful, Shannon, and I also would like to throw in the hat, I want to say a huge thank you to Wild Horses in Need down south, and also to the Humane Society of the United States, who is legislating every second. They are working tirelessly to stop horse slaughter in the United States. Horse slaughter, as you know, has been declared inhumane. There is no humane way to slaughter a horse. And what we are asking everyone to do right now, and I'm doing a PSA for the Humane Society and also for many, many radio stations, and this is out there, but asking you to call Congress and ask them to pass the SAFE Act, stop horse slaughter now.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lacy, for bringing that up. The SAFE Act, Safeguard American Food Exports. It's House Bill 1094, Senate Bill 541. Contact your congressman and your senators. We need everybody on board, and tell them, get this bill out of committee. It can't come to them to vote on, and there were 3 more House of Representatives who signed on to that bill just this week. They want it. We need to encourage the people who have it right now in committee. If it doesn't get out of committee, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
Let's get it out of committee.
You better believe it, Shannon. I'm gonna jump in real quick and let you know that just yesterday, thanks to Lacy J. Dalton and the rest of the members here of Mustang Matters, I was on the phone with Jason at Congressman Mark Amaday here in the state of Nevada at his office in Washington, D.C., who basically was putting together some information for me on that SAFE Act so that when I fly back and represent some of the advocacy groups back there for the wild horses and burros, I'll have information on who to contact, who to sit down with, and get the message out to the people. And so many people like Ann Novak have jumped on the board. What a great job she has done. And also, just this morning with Jessie McKenna, who called in with her new publication, said, Eddie, when you go back, I want you to know you're going to be speaking for me as well. I want to get the message out nationwide.
Eddie, I think it's so wonderful. I've been talking with Jean Marie, my friend who has wild horses in need, and she's been saying we really need, the groups really need to have a lobbyist. And we are so pleased. Eddie is the perfect guy. He knows the issues. He also he's not expensive because his son, his son will fly him out there for free. He has people to stay with, and we just supply what he needs to go. So any of you advocates out there listening, this is something that I really think we should support. We're going to support. And like I said, I will be doing another public service announcement asking everyone to vote, to call Congress and ask them to pass the SAFE Act. The SAFE Act at this moment has about a 2% chance of getting out of committee and a 0% chance of getting passed.
So, I bet a lot of people are wondering, what in the heck is a SAFE Act? Basically, it is going to protect all our horses. Right now, domestic horses are flying through livestock auctions. They're being dumped. They're being transported because there are no horse slaughter facilities in this country right now. They're being exported across the border into Mexico or up north into Canada, slaughtered and sold for human consumption. These horses are full of nasty chemicals. The food, the meat in this country is not considered fit for human consumption. This is going to stop for once and for all any discussion about horse slaughter in this country, and it is also going to halt this insane, I don't know what to call it, slipping all these beautiful creatures through the border to slaughter.
It's a
That isn't going
holocaust.
to happen anymore. And you know what that means? It's going to mean responsible ownership of horses. If you have a horse, you are responsible for that horse's life until it decides it's going to die, not you dumping it.
Right, exactly.
Thank you. I wanted to address that BLM and the Department of Interior did not mention treaties in their constitution that they were supposed to, the bylaws. And when I read that, I felt really hurt because as a treaty representative for the Wallacey tribes and a representative for 564 federal recognized tribes, and as you know, we have 531 channels going nationwide. I report this issue to the ambassadors, the ambassador of Africa, the ambassador of Lebanon, the headed chief ambassador of the world. These things that you're talking about, the responsibility, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. In other words, I want Washington to be responsible. That's why there is these horses are not to be locked up, the buffaloes are not to be locked up, the wolves are not to be locked up, because when Columbus came here, we was not locked up, we were free people, and so was our animals were free. And this is what the treaties are about. The treaties is supposed to be supreme law of the land to be protected.
Thank you, JoAnn Spotify, one of the co-hosts here on Mustang Matters. Shannon?
You know what? I'm going to have to toot our horn a little bit more here because we've got some really cool stuff happening, and I just want everybody to know. Once again, we're celebrating our first year as a horse rescue. The first anniversary of the first horse rescue is actually tomorrow. We saved 23 horses from the Fallon livestock auction, and over the next several months, 4 months to be exact, we've rescued 150 horses. We currently have 155 horses that we care for, and we need to purchase hay for those horses to get them through a nice, cozy, warm winter. If you want to participate, if you want to help, get on our website, www.hiddenvalleyhorses.com, and please visit our adoption website at www.wildhorseadoption.org, where you can actually get on and sponsor a horse, or two, or three, or 100. Maybe, there's no limit, really, honestly, there's no limit. But we want to just reach out to everybody and say a huge thank you to all of the volunteers in our organization. We can't forget about them. They get up there, like Kelly said, we were out running around the field last night. I was laughing. It was kind of scary, but we had our flashlights looking for a horse that was, as it turned out, grazed by a vehicle coming down Geiger Grade from Virginia City, and was kind of scared. And I was laughing afterwards because it was probably a lot more terrified of us running around the field with the flashlights chasing it than it was from what happened. But I just wanted to say also that we have several functions coming up. We've got our Hidden Valley Fall Festival and Barbecue that we're planning for October 19th here in Reno. We're organizing a formal dinner scheduled in November. We don't have a date yet, but we will. And we don't want to forget, excuse me, about the Wild Horse Preservation League's Piper Opera House fundraising event October 5th. And if you want tickets, call, excuse me, 775-246-7523. We're going to be in the Nevada Day Parade, Saturday, October 26th. And we're really excited about that. And I also wanted to say another big shout out to Sharon DeCarlo and her Horse Tales newspaper. And she has the Will James Days. Information can be found on willjames.org. It sounds like a wonderful weekend, September 26th through the 28th. For more information, go to www.willjames.org. You can call her and get a copy of Horse Tales newspaper, 775-265-7137.
All right, listeners, and I also want you to do me a favor as well. Go to Hidden Valley right now, donate. You're listening to us nationwide. These horses need your help, and if you want another place you can donate, because all the funds from Hidden Valley and also the Let 'em Run Foundation, who is the foundation of our creator of Mustang Matters and the host of the show, Lacy J. Dalton. Go to Let 'em Run. That's right, Let Them Run, and here's the way it's spelled: LETEMRUN.com. LetEmRun.com. Get a hold of Lacy J. Dalton. Go see her up on the Comstock October 12th as well. We'll see you next week right here in the Reno Town Mall.
We're on a mission for God.
That was really great.
You were
It just went right down.
Had to go down to the second. Okay, kids, I'm getting out of Debbie's way.
Switching out, guys.
Switching
You're
out for
welcome. We're gonna,
Debbie and Chit Chat.
there's cheese and crackers and wine back there.
Cheese and
If you wanna
crackers
sit
and
in,
wine.
you wanna join us, you're welcome.
Oh my, ready? Cheese and crackers and wine.
Oh, my. Good job.
Charles, get on, come on, women. Candy over here, Sarah.
Not anyway,
You're
Deborah.
fine, you're fine. Candy, your spot's here.
Yep, thank you for coming. Thank you.
Charles, I want you to sit right across from
Good
me.
job.
Come on. And Sarah, High Point Sarah, I want you to stand up, Mike. Do we have a cordless one?
No.
Next week. We'll use it next week.
I don't.
Do you have 60 minutes?
It's chips.
Okay, you're here, because you're gonna do a shout out.
Unless I do. Oh, I know, right?
How are you?
Break the legs.
Good to see
Sharon
you.
over there,
Get out of your
Paula
way.
over here.
Gotta be little-
Right, and then we're gonna alternate it.
Debbie, should I put this somewhere?
You can eat it right here. You brought 6 chicks. Sharon over there, one right here. Yeah, you're here. I want Charles right here.
Look at people.
Charles, I want you
This is
right
where-
here.
This is where I come on
And
Wednesdays
then,
to pick up chicks.
There you go.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you.
Right over there. And then we're gonna swap out with this mic, so I want you all to swap out.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Steph. Hey, kid.
You're right there.
somebody's coat.
It's Eddie's.
Eddie, what you're.
And then when Sarah's done with her shout out, I want any other women just to keep swapping out.
Sometimes, why?
And next week, we're gonna have a cordless mic.
I don't have a cable that reaches out for
This is for Eddie. Just put on his thing, thank you.
Right. 2 doors down. There's like.
Okay, do I have my quote? Okay.
Yeah, that would work best.
Here,
I'm good.
you're good?
Okay,
But,
alright,
it's actually.
okay, back.
Yeah, and everybody don't tapping on the tables.
Yeah, if you have
And when
cell
you talk,
phones,
Charles, you might wanna put yours up like
yeah,
this. so-
point it up at
And
your
when you're
face.
talking, kinda stay.
Hold mic to the edge of the
Yeah,
table.
so like don't
Pull
look
all the
over
way to the
here.
edge. Pay no attention to the other voices in your head, mine is the important one. Everybody hold the mics all the way to the edge of the table, so you don't have to lean into the table or over the table.
Except for my baby.
Except, well, yes. Liz,
Hot in here.
wait, I just saw you here
Liz was here this morning
for
at
3 hours at
3
6 o'clock
hours.
this morning.
So her new Wednesdays are
Do
here.
you get up at 6 o'clock?
She's on another show too.
She's ex-military, Candy.
How many kids do you have, Liz? 4? 5? 3?
Of my own.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah, she's got 5 kids, so
Okay, where's my phone?
I'm trying on the engineer.
Did you hear that? Where's my phone? It's
I
like
could
right
have
here.
been, I could have been in the military and I
Alright,
wouldn't have gotten
so everybody,
that
see that clock?
Right?
Okay, look up there, everybody look up,
Everybody
just to
see
the
the
crane.
clock on the top of the screen, or on the bottom of the screen, up above you? That clock is a countdown to the break. When you see it with 30 seconds left, wrap up your thought and let it go to Debbie so she can take us to the break, or whoever's going to be taking us to the break.
It'll either be either
Please.
one of us here.
Don't start a
I
new
can't
clock.
hear. Is it on? Okay, I can't hear. Okay, I'm wondering now. Debbie,
20 seconds.
thank you. We're gonna have all kinds of material.
Stand by.
Oh, it's time.
Here we go. Yes, it's time. She always talks with 5 seconds left and I'm opening the mics. Stand by. Here we go. And 5. Mics are open.
And it's what? It's Wednesday, and can you believe another week has gone by so quick? What's up with that? I don't know. I'm kind of quiet. I'm a quiet girl, you know.
Do I have cookie on my mouth?
No,
Okay.
we have really good cookies and we have really good food. But first of all, I want to just say hello to everybody. We have another fun panel. We're gonna have some fun today. Because we always try to have fun and then we kind of get serious every now and then. But we're gonna try, well, we'll have a little bit of seriousness. But today's gonna be really hot.
And didn't
You know why
somebody,
it's hot today?
don't we have 2 books?
Yeah, no, we have this book
Yeah.
first. We're gonna be talking,
I know that us,
Oh.
we have books.
we have